At the company's opening ceremony, I merely won a third prize worth 500 yuan. My CEO wife's assistant immediately stirred things up, insisting I treat the company's thousands of employees to dinner. At dinner, the employees kept toasting the assistant, praising him for being so generous. They completely ignored me, the person actually paying. Once everyone had eaten and drunk their fill, the assistant, his breath reeking of alcohol, handed me a long list of charges. When I saw the total, I immediately called my wife. President Zhang, please transfer 500,000 yuan to my payroll account. The room fell silent. Everyone set down their chopsticks at once, all eyes turning to me. The phone rang for over 10 seconds before she answered. Then, my wife's roar blasted through the phone. Moo, have you been drinking yourself, stupid? Do you not even know your own name anymore? I glanced sideways at the assistant beside me and said casually, I haven't been drinking. My mind is perfectly clear. The next second, my wife started cursing me out over the phone. Who gave you the nerve to demand money from me? I rubbed my ear, my tone cool and flat. You should ask your assistant. He invited the entire company to dinner in my name. The money. Before I could finish, she hung up. Seeing this, the assistant beside me was practically grinning ear to ear. Mr. Mu, you are the famous Zhang family son-in-law. How can you not even afford 500,000 yuan? The assistant raised his glass, watching me with gleeful malice. Looks like some people are only fit to live off a woman. I looked at him without expression and gave a cold laugh. So, Assistant Peng, you think I'm useless to this company? Seeing me walk right into his trap, Peng grinned even wider. What else? Who here isn't more capable than you? If not for the chairman, you would have been fired long ago. If you ask me, keeping dead weight like you in this company is nothing but a waste of resources. Facing Peng's provocation, I slowly raised my index finger. No. I think you've misunderstood. Peng was surprised by my confidence. His eyes showed disbelief. How have I misunderstood? You don't seriously think Zhang Group can't survive without you, do you? The corner of my mouth lifted. I gave him a slight nod. You're absolutely right. If I leave this company, Zhang Group will go under sooner or later. The moment I said it, the long silent table erupted. Oh my god. Has this pretty boy been drinking too much? Zhang Group is one of the nation's top 500 companies. How could it collapse because of a mere live-in son-in-law? Exactly. This guy just relies on being the chairman's son-in-law, idling around all day, never doing any real work, while collecting a paycheck for nothing for 3 years. How disgusting. How can there be someone as shameless as this man living off his wife? He has no shame at all. The insults around the table grew louder, but I did not care in the least, because every word I said was true. Zhang Group rose from a tiny company with barely a dozen employees to a publicly listed corporation with over 10,000 employees. That was all because of me, or rather, the resources behind me. It had nothing to do with the chairman they kept praising. 3 years ago, Zhang Group's founder, Zhang Tianming, came carrying a marriage contract. He traveled all the way from Suzhou to the capital to ask my father to honor an old promise. I had just graduated from college then. I knew nothing about social standing or suitable matches. I only knew I could not defy my father's wishes. But I never expected that after I built Zhang Group into what it is today, people would still call me worthless. Thinking of that, my anger surged. Right then, I decided to confront Zhang Tianming. Was the Zhang family planning to turn their backs on me? If he could not give me a reasonable explanation, I would not mind sending Zhang Group back to where it was 3 years ago. Stop right there. Just as I turned away, the assistant suddenly shouted, Moo, you think you can just walk away? I slowly turned back. Our eyes met. What? Do you have further instructions, Assistant Peng? He stared at me for a long moment with a wicked grin, then sneered. We agreed beforehand. You're paying for tonight's meal. Everyone is still waiting for you to settle the bill. My fist clenched involuntarily. I fixed him with a hard stare. And if I refused to pay? As soon as I said that, the assistant waved his hand. Several burly men instantly surrounded me. Mr. Mu, I'll be honest with you. My brother-in-law owns this restaurant. If you plan to skip out on the bill, you'll have to leave something behind. At the assistant's shout, the table became lively again. Most of the employees present wore expressions of malicious delight. Only a handful of colleagues close to me looked at me with concern. Seeing this scene, I finally understood what it meant for everyone to kick you while you're down. When I first joined the company, the employees all treated me with great respect. They called me President Mu at every turn. Now Peng was humiliating me like this. Yet no one dared to speak up for me. In my view, 3 years to grow the company to this size was simply too fast for Zhang Group. When Peng saw I still hadn't moved, he suddenly shoved me. Mu, I'm talking to you, damn it. Are you pretending not to hear me? I smiled. My expression remained calm. You're only the president's assistant. Do you think your words Speak for the entire company? The assistant raised an eyebrow, his gaze full of contempt. Mr. Mu, you clearly haven't grasped how serious this is. Even President Zhang won't stand up for you now. With that meager salary of yours, can you come up with 500,000 today? Faced with the assistant's threat, I could not help laughing. Who told you that I, Mubai, need a woman to support me? Seeing me go head-to-head with the assistant, several employees suddenly rose from the table. Well, I was wondering who was making such a racket. Turns out it's just a dog the Zhang family keeps. Well said. You don't have a cent, yet you're pretending to be rich. You've ruined everyone's mood. If President Zhang finds out about this, you probably won't even have a home to return to tonight. They mocked me as they laughed, looking thoroughly thrilled. Silently, I memorized every one of their names. If I'm not mistaken, you people must be in cahoots with Assistant Peng, aren't you? For a skilled investor, keen insight is the most basic skill. The moment the raffle began, they were exchanging looks with Assistant Peng. Company policy clearly states that raffles do not distinguish by rank, and every employee should have the same chance to win. Yet these people swept every major prize, while I just happened to win third prize. Someone had obviously rigged it behind the scenes. The only person I pitied was my wife, the CEO. She was probably still in the dark. You little punk, quit spouting nonsense. We have nothing to do with Assistant Peng. That's right. We just can't stand a freeloader like you. So we chose to stand up. My gaze swept across them one by one. I let out a cold laugh. It's come to this. So stop putting on an act. Which of you dares swear that in today's raffle, Assistant Peng didn't rig it? The hell I rigged it. After cursing at me, the assistant still did not seem satisfied. He rolled up his sleeves and charged at me again. Now that the truth was coming out, some people were getting restless, weren't they? Assistant Peng threw several punches at me, but he could not even touch my clothes. He flew into a rage. You little punk, try dodging again. Believe it or not, I'll fire you right now. Despite the assistant's repeated provocations, I did not fight back. I merely kept yielding. It was not because I feared him, but because the mastermind had yet to appear. From what I knew of Assistant Peng, with his abilities, he could never have planned today's dinner ambush. Seeing that I said nothing, the assistant thought I had chickened out. He raised his fist and rushed at me again. At that critical moment, the private room's door was violently thrown open. President Zhang, what are you doing here? Peng, you're my personal assistant. How can you, in front of all these employees, lay your hands on someone? My wife, the company's CEO, surrounded by bodyguards, quickly came over to me. Tell me, you called and asked me for 500,000. What do you need it for? I carefully looked over the woman before me. I had to admit, my father had excellent taste back then. If she had one flaw, it was the unusually cold way she looked at me. Here's what happened. Before I could finish, my wife impatiently raised a hand to cut me off. I don't have time for your nonsense. Just tell me what the 500,000 is for. For a moment, I nearly thought I had misheard her. Was she filming some overbearing CEO drama? I was her husband, after all. Yet in front of all these employees, this woman kept interrupting me. The thought of it made my temper flare at once. I could not be bothered explaining anymore. Hurry up and pay the bill. 500,000. What did you say? My wife's eyes widened. Her face turned bright red. Moo, you called me in the middle of the night just to make me pay for your dinner. As she spoke, she looked me up and down from the corner of her eye, her face full of disgust. I have no idea what my father was thinking, making me marry a pathetic loser like you. Seeing his chance, Assistant Peng immediately moved to her side. He looked at me with a sinister grin. From his eyes, it was easy to tell that he had been poisoning her against me. I had to admit, using someone else to do his dirty work was a tactic he had mastered. President Zhang, if you ask me, keeping someone like him only wastes company resources. I suggest we fire him outright. I turned to my wife beside me, my heart utterly calm. Do his words represent the company? Of course, President Zhang has already decided to divorce you. I grinned, smiling faintly. My expression did not change at all. Oh, is that so? Assistant Peng nodded instinctively, his eyes full of contempt. What else? You don't think the heiress of a listed corporation would ever want a loser like you, do you? If not for the chairman, you would have been kicked out long ago. So my guess was right. Today's dinner trap had been prepared specifically for me. Unfortunately, they picked the wrong target. Discarding me after using me would not work on me. If I could turn Zhang Group into one of the country's top 500 companies so quickly, I could just as easily bring it crashing down. But I suddenly changed my mind. This game of cat and mouse would only be fun if played to the end. After all, the main player had not even appeared yet. How could this end so soon? Assistant Peng had no idea what I was planning. When I still did not respond, he grew unbearably smug. President Zhang, why don't you tell him yourself? Zhang Yuting paused, then turned to look at me. Assistant Peng is right. The reason I came today is to divorce you. Expressionless, I looked at my wife. Then I spoke calmly. President Zhang, from the sound of it, you've already found someone else, haven't you? Zhang Yuting's gaze flickered. She let out a soft sigh. Tell me, how much do you want? As long as you agree to divorce me. Name your price. She did not answer my question directly. I was in no rush either. After all, boiling a frog slowly takes time. Keep your money. I was born with plenty of it. As I said that, I abruptly changed my tone, my voice turning colder. There's only one thing I want to know. Who stepped in and dared steal my woman? Perhaps she sensed my anger. She began to stammer. His name. You aren't qualified to know, but I can tell you this. He comes from the capital. He's far beyond your reach. The capital, the same place I'm from. Zhang Yuting's words instantly piqued my curiosity. I was about to speak when Assistant Peng cut me off. Enough. Enough. Even if you knew who he was, what could you do? Take my advice and agree to divorce President Zhang. At least you'll get a settlement for a worthless freeloader like you. Why not take it? Despite the assistant's repeated provocations, I hadn't stopped him. I chose to endure it. Now the truth had come out, so I had no reason to tolerate him anymore. Enough. My gaze swept over every employee present. Then I spoke slowly. It's time this farce ended. Any employee connected to Assistant Peng needn't come to work tomorrow. At those words, the private room erupted. You all heard him, right? This pretty boy freeloader says he's firing us. That's hilarious. Please, a live-in son-in-law who lives off his wife, and he thinks he's important. Exactly. Without his status as the Zhang family's son-in-law, he'd be lower than the dogs in our neighborhood. I suppressed my rage and faced the crowd. I always keep my word. You have 2 minutes to decide. Seeing their smug, gloating faces around the table, I couldn't help feeling disappointed. Usually, when they called me useless or called me a pretty boy freeloader, I pretended not to hear it. But now, over the cost of one meal, everyone was waiting to see me humiliated. Was this the price of keeping too low a profile? Because of my unusual status, I had concealed my identity at the company. I rarely socialized with my coworkers. Even when I overheard employees gossiping about me, I simply let it slide. But I never expected my normally easygoing attitude would become their excuse to mock me. Seeing that I still hadn't moved, Peng grew impatient. Hey, Moo. What are you standing there for? Say something already. If you agree to divorce Zhang Yuting, the cost of tonight's dinner will be waived. I gave a cold laugh. The corner of my mouth lifted slightly. All right. Enough. I've played along with you long enough. I'm tired of it. Bring out the man behind you. Does this big shot from the capital not even have the courage to face me? The moment I finished speaking, the private room's door was violently thrown open. Every employee, including my wife, turned around at once. A young man about my age swaggered inside. Mr. Mu, I hear you wanted to see me. Crown Prince, what are you doing here? At Assistant Peng's startled cry, everyone rose to their feet to welcome this mysterious man from the capital. Judging by this, you must be Assistant Peng's real boss. The man raised an eyebrow and slowly walked toward me. You're right. Peng works for me. 3 years ago, I placed him in Zhang Yuting's company to keep watch on you. Even I hadn't expected him to be this brazen. He actually admitted it before the president of Zhang Group. That's corporate crime. Just what I'd expect from a big shot from the capital. You dare call yourself the Crown Prince? You've got some nerve. So, you came today to steal my wife. The man nodded. His eyes were full of mockery. Mr. Mu, as I understand it, you've been married to Zhang Yuting for 3 years and haven't even held hands. That sure works out well for me. Ha ha ha. At that, the Crown Prince burst into unrestrained laughter. Far from getting angry, I calmly waved him off. Since the Crown Prince likes other men's wives so much, you can have her. Halfway through, I suddenly laughed. I just wonder how the Crown Prince from the capital can lack even basic decency. At those words, the assistant immediately stepped forward and shouted at me. Punk, how dare you mock my boss? Do you know what the capital means? Do you know what the title Crown Prince of the capital means? I looked up at him. I gave an unconcerned snort. Ridiculous. These days, every Tom, Dick, and Harry loves giving himself a grand title. Still, that last thing you said did remind me of something. Indeed, when I was in the capital, no one dared call himself the Crown Prince. Before my words had even faded, I lashed out with a kick. That Crown Prince from the capital had no time to react. I sent him flying 10 feet across the room. When everyone saw that, their jaws dropped. Is this guy insane? He even dared hit someone from the capital. Does he have a death wish? Tell me about it. That is the Crown Prince of the capital's elite. I can't believe that Mu Punk actually dared to lay a hand on him. Even Jesus couldn't save him today. Assistant Peng was terrified by the sudden turn of events. He hurried over to his boss and helped him up. Then he turned around and glared viciously at me. Punk, you're completely finished now. The capital won't let you get away with this. I gave a soft snort and waved him off dismissively. Assistant Peng, let me correct you. The question is no longer whether your boss will spare me. It's whether he'll make it back to the capital. As I spoke, the Crown Prince gradually regained consciousness. He rubbed his chest and struggled to his feet. You little bastard. You dared lay a hand on me? I'll kill you today. As he spoke, he violently shoved Assistant Peng. What the hell are you waiting for? Kill him already. At his command, the assistant shouted outside the room. Several bodyguards in black rushed in. I noticed they all wore Zhang Group ID badges on their chest. Stop right now. At that critical moment, the private room's door was pushed open again. A distinguished middle-aged man ran in, panting heavily. Dad, what are you doing here? The newcomer was my father-in-law, the current chairman of Zhang Group, Zhang Tianming. The moment he saw the scene before him, Zhang Tianming broke out in a cold sweat. Mr. Mu, I'm terribly sorry. I had no idea this would happen today. I gently patted his shoulder. Uncle Zhang, you came at just the right time. I'm considering divorcing your daughter. Zhang Tianming opened his mouth to say something, but I silenced him with a glare. He could only unleash all his fury on his daughter. A sharp slap rang out. 5 bright red finger marks instantly appeared on Zhang Yuting's face. You fool! Who gave you permission to divorce Mr. Mu on your own? Zhang Yuting was clearly stunned by the slap. She looked at her father in utter confusion. Dad, why did you hit me? I don't want to spend every day with a worthless man. What's wrong with pursuing my own happiness? You're in far deeper trouble than you realize. You don't even know your own employees have been using you. Watching this unfold, I secretly savored it. Zhang Qianming had only just calmed his breathing, but his daughter's words made him tremble with rage again. You have the nerve to ask me why. This marriage was arranged by me personally. Who are you to question it? Zhang Qianming's words rang with authority, but Zhang Yuting's mind was a complete mess. She probably couldn't understand how merely the family's live-in son-in-law could possibly compare to the crown prince from the capital. Chairman Zhang, have you gone senile? The man beside me is the crown prince from the capital. If you marry your daughter to him, wouldn't that be better than giving her to this loser? Behind the crown prince stands the Wang family, one of the capitals for great families. When that time comes, don't regret your decision. Assistant Peng's words won the employees' unanimous support, but Zhang Tianming saw things differently. Perhaps to outsiders, he was now advanced in years and ready for retirement, but only I knew. He was doing this only to save Zhang Group, making one final effort. I found an excellent seat to watch from. For now, I gave the stage to my father-in-law, and Zhang Tianming did not disappoint me. Ignoring all decorum, he pointed at Peng and cursed at him. When I, Zhang Tianming, make a decision, a lowly assistant like you doesn't get to tell me what to do. As of this moment, you are no longer an employee of Zhang Group. Once he had dealt with company business, Zhang Qianming stood with his hands behind his back, one step behind me. On behalf of Zhang Group, I declare that we stand or fall with Mr. Mu. At those words, the room erupted in uproar. The employees never expected the chairman of a publicly traded group to side with a live-in son-in-law, even at the cost of offending the crown prince from the capital. Chairman Zhang, are you sure you want to risk everything for this loser and offend the capitals for great families? Clutching his chest, the crown prince pushed through the crowd and struggled toward us. Zhang Tianming, do you know what happens to anyone who crosses me? Under everyone's curious gaze, I slowly rose to my feet. Stop barking already. Your Wang family doesn't speak for the whole capital. The moment I finished speaking, then Zhang Yuting, that big-breasted airhead, stepped forward. Mu, shut your mouth right now. If you offend the crown prince, and the company suffers any losses, don't blame me for showing you no mercy. I raised an eyebrow and gave a cold smile. Ms. Zhang, it seems you really want to marry the crown prince. Over our 3 years of marriage, I used every means at my disposal to build the Zhang family into what it is today. But now it seemed she had no gratitude for any of it. You're right. The only reason I married you in the first place was because of my father. In truth, I've never liked you. Now that my father is at retirement age, of course I can pursue my own happiness again. I looked at her coldly. There wasn't a trace of feeling in my voice. If I'm not mistaken, you've been involved with this man from the capital who calls himself the crown prince for a long time, haven't you? Faced with my accusation, Zhang Yuting lowered her head. She did not dare meet my eyes. Affair? What affair? After all that talk, you just want money, don't you? Name your price. Quit dragging this out. I looked at this arrogant crown prince like he was a clown, and sneered. Don't say I didn't warn you. Even if you are from the capital, you will answer for what you've done today. Seeing me threaten the idol of her dreams, Zhang Yuting instantly bristled. Mu, stop running your mouth. You're nothing but a dog fed by the Zhang family. Compared to the crown prince, you're not even fit to carry his shoes. I'll tell you the truth. I'm already carrying a child from the Wang family. What? Zhang Qianming's body jolted violently. He nearly fainted from rage. His daughter had so brazenly revealed her affair, without the slightest shame, right in front of all those employees. Zhang Qianming's face went white. The employees immediately began flattering the crown prince. Yet not one of them stepped up to defend me. It seemed all they cared about was profit and personal gain. Morals and basic values meant nothing to them. With employees like these, the company probably wasn't far from collapse. Looking at my wife's slightly rounded belly, my gaze slowly turned icy. Zhang Yuting, isn't divorce what you want? I'll grant you that. But I have one condition. Go on. What's your condition? Do you want money or a house? I can give you either. Zhang Yuting looked utterly disdainful. I smiled and shook my head. I just want to tell you this. Don't ever regret it. Zhang Yuting thought I was still making a last desperate struggle. Her voice grew even more contemptuous. Whoever regrets it is a dog. Happy now, seeing how certain she was of victory. The last shred of goodwill I had toward the Zhang family vanished completely. Good. I want everyone here today to bear witness. I will make you and your crown prince pay the price. Pa. Zhang Yuting threw herself into the man's arms. Moo. Why don't you look at yourself in a mirror? What could you possibly use to compete with the crown prince? He could crush you with one finger. Seeing that she wanted to keep going, I quickly raised a hand to cut her off. Now, immediately, let's finalize the divorce. Seeing this, Tianming was utterly terrified, but no matter how he pleaded, Zhang Yuting refused to listen. She even had the bodyguards restrain him. Then, Assistant Peng pulled a document from his bag. I had someone draw up the divorce papers long ago. All you need to do is sign. Looking at the stack of papers on the table, my suspicions were confirmed. From the moment I won the lottery, to the crown prince from the capital appearing, and finally Zhang Yuting forcing me to divorce her, everything today had been planned by them. For vile people willing to stop at nothing, I would show no mercy. Without hesitation, I signed my name. Then I handed it back. Seeing how readily I agreed, a flicker of surprise crossed Zhang Yuting's eyes. Moo, what are you smiling about? I looked up at her, my voice full of excitement. Can I be as happy as you are? My retort made Zhang Yuting's face flush red. Fine. I'll sign. As if anyone wants you. She shot me a vicious glare. Then she signed the divorce agreement too. Just like that, my 3-year marriage was finally over. I don't know why, but the instant I saw her sign her name, I didn't feel a trace of sadness. Instead, I felt immensely relieved. Once the agreement was signed, Assistant Peng gave me a hard shove. Now that the paperwork is done, what are you still doing here? Get out already. Assistant Peng, don't be in such a rush. I looked at Zhang Yuting flaunting her affection in front of me and let out a cold laugh. Now that I have no ties to the Zhang family, it's time to settle old scores. The moment I finished speaking, the crown prince pulled Zhang Yuting into his arms. Kid, did I hear that right? Did you say you wanted to settle scores with my wife? Moo, do you know who I am? Seeing the crown prince stand up for her himself, Zhang Yuting beamed with happiness. I hear you call yourself the crown prince of the capital, right? You're as stupid as the woman in your arms. Before showing off, you should know your own limits. But this time, before the crown prince could respond, Zhang Yuting eagerly jumped in. My husband is from the Wang family, one of the capitals for great families. Who the hell do you think you are? You're about to find out. I slowly took out my phone. In front of everyone, I put it on speaker. Hello, tell the Wang family, their dog has bitten me. After hanging up, I looked at the clock on the wall and began counting silently. Before I reached 10, the crown prince's phone rang in his pocket. He stared at me wide-eyed for a long moment, then answered with trembling hands. Hello, Dad, it's Xiaojun. The next second, a furious roar from the phone filled the private room. You worthless brat. All you do is cause trouble out there. Do you think you're grown enough to defy me now? The crown prince gave an awkward smile. Dad, can't we talk this over calmly? There are people all around me. Can't you save me some face? Even through the phone, I could feel the overwhelming fury on the other end. Don't you fucking call me Dad. Do you have any idea how much trouble you've caused the family? Listen carefully. I'll say this once. Apologize to Mr. Mu right now. Otherwise, don't blame me for disowning you. The crown prince had never seen his father this furious. He instantly realized how serious this was. The instant he hung up, he shakily came before me and bowed at a 90-degree angle. Mr. Mu, I was wrong. I shouldn't have stolen your wife. Please, show mercy. Please let me go. I licked my lips and gave him a meaningful look. I can let you off. Go tell your father. Bring shares in the Wang family in exchange for my forgiveness. As soon as I said that, the crown prince, so arrogant just moments ago, tucked his tail between his legs and fled the room. From receiving the call to the crown prince's departure, the entire ordeal took less than 10 minutes. Everyone stared at me in utter confusion. What just happened? How does that Mu guy know people in the capital? Exactly. Since he joined the company, he's never even left Suzhou. Could he be the real hidden big shot? Don't scare me like that. If that's true, then Zhang Group is completely finished. Ignoring the whispers around me, I slowly walked over to my ex-wife. President Zhang, don't worry. You're next. Zhang Yuting stared at me in shock. Mu Bai, who are you really? Why would even the crown prince from the capital? Before I could answer, Zhang Tianming slapped his thigh. Zhang Yuting, shut your mouth right now. Haven't you caused enough trouble already? Zhang Tianming beat his chest and stomped in fury, furious that she had turned out so hopeless. Do you still not understand? Why I insisted you marry Mr. Mo. Haven't you always asked me why? Today, I'll tell you. Without Mr. Mo, Zhang Group would not be where it is today. At Zhang Qiaming's roar, the entire room fell deathly silent. Under her father's furious rebuke, Zhang Yuting finally came to her senses. While the employees still reeled from my identity, the heiress of Zhang Group had already fallen to her knees before me, tears streaming down her face. Everyone in the private room looked at me completely differently than before. Their eyes were filled with respect. Assistant Peng cowered in the corner, trembling. You should be thankful your father arrived in time. He secured Zhang Group one last chance to survive. By then, Zhang Yuting's face was already covered in tears of regret. I know I was wrong. It was all because I was foolish for a moment. Can we start over? I promise I'll listen to you from now on. Nothing like today will ever happen again. By the end, Zhang Yuting's voice had grown hoarse. The corner of my lips curled up. I spoke in an icy voice. Zhang Yuting, you seem to have forgotten. You're carrying another man's child. Do you really think we can start over? Those final words were also meant for Zhang Tianming. They made my position clear, while giving an answer to my father's old friend. After all, he had once served under my father. Otherwise, I never would have agreed to this marriage. Father and daughter exchanged a look. Then they both let out a deep sigh. Zhang Tianming made one last attempt to stop me, but I refused without hesitation. A woman who is cheated will never enter the Mu family again. With that, I pushed open the private room door and left without looking back. On my flight back to the capital, I received a message from the Wang family. They offered 10% of their shares in exchange for my forgiveness. Years later, when I returned to Suzhou, Zhang Group